choice now.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
Hey guys, welcome back to Sabers Forever, and boy do we have a doozy. This is an older hilt, but it's definitely still sought after. This is the KRSabers Leia, or Princess LO. So this thing is just loud, it's lightweight, it's sturdy, it's gorgeous, and it has a master chassis. So why don't we just jump right in and I'll show you exactly what's going on. Alright, so this is the Princess Leia Organa by KRSabers, or LO as it says on the packaging. It's a single button saber, and it is absolutely perfect. It's got all the aluminum on it is high polish. It has this amazing copper, I believe, anodizing on top, and then it has these great mother of pearl accents all over. I mean, it's just so beautiful. The whole hilt. Let's get a closer look. So you can see the emitter. Just gorgeous. I love it. I'm in love with it. It's such a great hilt. So, a little backstory on how I'm able to actually show this off is because this was my personal Princess Leia hilt. And honestly, it was just living in a box under this desk. And I was afraid to scratch it or anything. It was installed with a Goth Padawan chassis, and Cal had a customer come through, ordered a bunch of hilts, and she was like, hey, if you happen to see one of these that can accept the master chassis, let me know, because I'd really like to install that. And I wasn't going to do it for myself, but I really wanted to do that install. I always have. So I sold this to her and jumped on being able to do the master chassis. So let's show that off. Real quick, there is an NPXL, a stock NPXLv3 up here in the emitter. Single button power for the saber. There's a quick connect right here that connects the chassis. So when you unscrew the pommel to gain access to the chassis, it just comes out completely. The connector is also, it's a stock rotary 6-pin connector, or 6 pads, whatever you want to call it, but it connects the neopixel and the switch to the chassis. The chassis itself doesn't have any switches on it, so if you wanted to change fonts to view a different crystal color or the actual programming of the LEDs, the accents can change from font to font. You have to actually stick this back in the saber and then turn it off and on, or switch fonts. But you have the rotary connector up here. Underneath of that, I have 2 neopixel accents up top. The crystal has its own neopixel accent, and then there's 2 neopixels below that for more, accent goodness. The whole top section here, sorry, let's actually continue just looking at the top section. So this is all SLS printed in nylon in gray. The tubing here is copper accent tubing. The actual crystal chamber metal parts are brass. The Proffieboard cover is made out of 14 karat gold, rose gold, which does not tarnish. It's the whole point of gold, is that it doesn't tarnish, and I didn't want to weather this with enamel just because I thought it would be silly to cover up such a precious metal with enamel. This is protected for the soundboard. In case it ever comes in contact, it won't short anything out. The battery is an 18650 with a KRSabers copper battery wrap. We have a high amp kill switch and then a 28mm bass speaker. So the saber is packed with everything. I mean, the only thing it doesn't have is a switch on the chassis to change fonts or whatever, but I mean, whatever. No big deal.
Somehow, I've always known.
The switch just gets flipped to the right if you're looking at it with the crystal facing up, and the animating of the LEDs starts right away. So you can see it lighting up and scrolling up and then dissipating into the crystal, and the crystal is pulsing. And then when you turn it on, we get red, and then yellow, and then blue, and then your other accents up here are all lit up. And then back to animating. So, pretty cool, if I say so myself. The saber, when you put this chassis back into the saber, the battery should be in line with the switch. There's a track system inside, and so it doesn't twist or rotate at all. But put your cap on, with the saber on, obviously, and then your switch should work. Really, really, really loud. So people are going to be able to hear you coming from down the street, I'm sure. The Saber features all of the FET263 button commands, which I'll be sending in a printed out manual of sort, so that you know what all the button commands are. But yeah, basically, that pretty much covers that. Let's actually, look at some of the other fonts. So I know the next one is Rescue by Kyberphonic. So hold this for a sec.
Are you a Jedi? I am.
Now we have a green crystal, a similar animation to the Leia font, but this one uses these two accents on the bottom will mimic like a forge effect. So these are all FET263 blade styles. They're just real simple to work with. But it goes from white to red to green and then reverse that for when it powers off and goes back to white, pulsing. So really, really cool. All the fonts have a little bit of a different effect with the pulsing. So yeah, I mean, when you're all done, just switch the power off. You'll also notice I turned it off on Luke, and when I gave it power again, it went back to Leia and blue. So it'll always default to Leia. But when you're done, just turn the saber off to save battery. After 15 minutes or so, the board will no longer recognize gesturing. So you can actually twist the saber on and then twist the saber off. Normally, the saber, when it's on, is in an active state of waiting for anything to happen and for it to react. So it'll always wait for a button press, but after 15 minutes, it will no longer wait for gestures, and it'll also turn off the LEDs inside. So it's not a deep sleep, but it is an attempt to try and simulate that and save some battery while the saber is on and not in use. So that being said, if you're done using it, just open your cap, pull out your chassis. It's very easy. Pull out your chassis, find your switch. Where is it? There it is. And just turn it off. And then you're good. So real easy, simple operation, simple saber, really great design, very loud, feels amazing in the hand. I mean, Cal should just do another run of these. They're perfect. Anyways, thanks for checking out the video. Alright guys, that does it for this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, Make sure to like and subscribe to see more sabers just like this. Isn't this such a cute blade? I've got plenty of room in my studio to be able to swing it around. Really cool. This was part of the commission. I didn't mention that, but the commissionee wanted 2 16-inch blades, so these are super cool. If you're looking to have a saber installed, be sure to reach out at john@sabersforever.com. You could message me on Instagram and I might get back to you, but Instagram has a tendency to actually not show me your messages. So it's better to just reach out at john@sabersforever.com and I'll be happy to get back to you with a price quote about your inquiry. That being said, until the next time, may the Force be with you.